6 out of 10 adults in the U.S. with a mental health condition did not receive mental health services in the last year. The main reasons for that are cost, stigma, and lack of access. Pine Rest hopes to change that. Elizabeth Sear is a psychologist with Pine Rest, and she joined us to talk about teletherapy.
Teletherapy, or tele-mental health as it's also called, is a therapy session with a licensed clinical practitioner through the use of an application on an electronic device, similar to what most people are familiar with, Skype or Facetime, but using a HIPAA secure connection.
So this would be just the same as a session that I might have with you in person, but we're doing it through the screen, so to speak.
Correct. And so you can meet in whatever setting is most appropriate for that person.
Does this work? Because I imagine that being in person, you can pick up on cues and things the body tells you that maybe you don't get that way, but what kind of success are you having with it?
So research is indicating that there's actually a lot of success very similar to inpatient or in-person therapy. In fact, a lot of people have noticed maybe an increase in effectiveness just because some of the barriers that may prevent people from attending sessions regularly, which we know really helps with the success of therapy, are removed with teletherapy. And in fact, a lot of employers, about 56%, are recognizing the benefits right now and are offering that as part of their benefits package.
I imagine in some ways, the not sitting in front of you is good, right? I might open up in ways that I wouldn't do in person just out of maybe shame or a discomfort with sharing my details. You get that?
Yeah, correct. And therapy can be really intimidating for people. And so allowing people to have their first session or a few sessions in the comfort of their own home or a setting that's more comfortable for them helps them acclimate, and then they can work with their practitioner to determine if in-person sessions may be beneficial to them.
So you mentioned barriers to seeking treatment, that they exist, and one might be this whole shame and being in front of you thing. But what are some of the other barriers that folks are able to overcome or have trouble, I guess, overcoming?
Sure. So some of the barriers that may prevent people from getting access to treatment may be a lack of providers in their area, especially in rural communities. Transportation issues in general can be something that prevent people. Just basic schedules, whether that's work, vacations, or just certain things popping up that may make it difficult for people to get in, may be a barrier. And it's actually really fitting that we're meeting during the month of May, because the month of May is Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month, and one of the more specific populations that can benefit from teletherapy that have barriers to getting into the treatment are new moms or postpartum moms. And we know that there are so many demands for their time, making it difficult to get access to therapy regularly. And this helps remove that barrier so that they can have a little bit of flexibility.
Talk about some of the outcomes you've seen, and can you maintain the same kind of a relationship? If I want to do this teletherapy, do I get the same therapist each time? Can we develop the same kind of relationship we might in person? And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You do get the same therapist each time, and you work to build that relationship just like you would in person. And that person is trained, and especially at Pine Rest, we go through a special training so that we know how to utilize the service. We know the differences of in-person and know what to pick up on, and therefore we're able to facilitate that relationship much in the same way that you would in person.
Other outcomes that you're seeing that are positive?
Yeah, a lot of outcomes that I've seen or noticed is just people really like the flexibility of being able to determine whether they want in person or whether they would like to stay home. There's a comfort in being able to stay at home and start therapy in a session that you are comfortable and familiar with. Like I talked about before, it can sometimes be really intimidating and scary for people to come in, and certain mental health issues make it really difficult or prevent people from getting treatment from the onset. But that can be a goal that you work with a trusted therapist that you've built a relationship with to determine whether that may be helpful to work on getting into an in-person setting.
And is it as easy as just requesting that that's the kind of arrangement that you make? It's just that easy?
It's that easy. All you need to do is contact, at least within Pine Rest, you just contact Rural Central Access, and they will get you set up with a trained professional in telehealth services.